when you limit the motion or your body limits the motion of a certain area, other areas have to compensate. But what we often are not ever educated on is that our feet are supposed to move.
Welcome to the Exercise is Health podcast, where we're talking about exercise, health, and the interconnectedness of the two. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie,
and we will be coming to you every single week from our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Exercise is Health podcast. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie,
and we are coming to you from our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg in Schaumburg, Illinois. Now, at Muscle Activation Schaumburg, we believe your health is your most valuable asset. Your health is one of the biggest influencers of the quality and quantity of time that you have. And while there are many aspects of health, our expertise is exercise. Exercise has been proven time and again to not only improve your health, but also increase your longevity and improve your quality of life. And if you're looking for a way to exercise on your own while still receiving customized guidance similar to the kind of guidance we give our clients here at Muscle Activation Schaumburg, then our virtual membership program is for you. So head on over to matschaumburg.com, click on the membership tab to enroll in the program and learn more about it, to see if it's something that you would be interested in, because it's going to be the quality of workouts that we give our clients here at MAS, but you can do them wherever you work out.
Also, the Schaumburg Health Summit is coming up. I know you know about it. Go to www.schaumburghealthsummit.com to check out our amazing lineup of speakers. We're going to be hearing and get educated about 11 different topics on that day from health professionals in those specific fields, because guess what? We have to give up Dr. Google at some point. So make sure to join us that day. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tickets are on sale, and we will be giving you breakfast and lunch, so you can come hungry and ready to learn a whole bunch. But we look forward to seeing you there, and we want to get a picture with you.
Now, today, we are talking about one of our specialties here at Muscle Activation Schaumburg, and that is muscle activation techniques. And specifically, we're going to be talking about the feet and how they're related to the ankles and related to the hips and related to the knees and how related to the trunk and how it's all interconnected, but how your shoes, the things that you're wearing on your feet, could be causing problems throughout all those aforementioned areas, and how by getting your muscles working better, you can actually negate a lot of the stresses that your shoes may be contributing to. See, here's the thing. So often, shoes are just seen for their fashion and not their function. Meaning, a lot of times we choose shoes based on how they look and do they fit well. And by do they fit well, it means, does our foot shove in there and is it rubbing weird? And if it shoves in there and is not rubbing weird, hooray, it fits. But here's the thing. There's so much more to consider when it comes to which shoes to wear, above and beyond how they look and how they fit. We also have to consider is how mobile the shoe is and how supportive that shoe is going to be, and how well your muscles are functioning, not just in your feet, but in your knees, your hips, and your trunk. Because guess what? If the shoes are too supportive and your muscles don't need that much support, well, your joints may start to feel beat up. But if the shoes are not supportive enough and your muscles need a whole bunch of support, guess what? Your joints are going to start to feel beat up. So we need to talk to you about this today and discuss some of the things that you need to consider when it comes to which shoes to wear.
Now, shoes are a tough one. Maybe you're thinking, well, Charlie, I get it. Like, I used to buy for fashion, and actually now I actually buy shoes that really feel supportive and comfortable. And I have to buy those because or else I don't feel supported and I don't feel comfortable, or I get a symptom, or I get a pain or something like that. And this is a big thing because in today's shoe society, the stiffness, the external supports, those arch thingies you put in your shoes, orthotics, those are a big, big thing. They're also usually pretty expensive, and I don't blame you for getting them because guess what? You probably got checked out by someone, maybe someone at the running store or like a foot person checked you out, and they said, ooh, you need support under your arch because it looks like it's collapsing. And I actually used to be in your shoes kind of. I was labeled as one of those overpronators, and if you're an overpronator, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, that means like your arch collapses and it stays collapsed, meaning it's low. I'm not sure like if everyone should have the same height of a arch, but apparently mine was low, and I also had a symptom that went along with it. So those two put together means I'm an overpronator, which means I have to wear a pronator shoe, which means I need a shoe that's really stiff and really supportive and clunky on the inside and raises my arches up. And guess what? When I would wear them, I felt better than when I wouldn't wear them. So that's something. Also, there was some big thing shoving up on my arch, so it was harder to feel my arches that were in pain. So maybe I just felt less. I don't know. But since then, I've learned a lot about feet and how a lot about how the arch works in terms of the muscle function. And so I do want to acknowledge that sometimes wearing a stiff or supportive shoe does make the symptom that's bothering you the most feel better. For me, it was fasciitis, so it did make that feel better. But it did not solve the problem, or it wasn't working to solve the problem. You see, when we use external supports, we're actually just kind of putting a Band-Aid over something. And the way that we know the external support is working is if our symptom changes. That's kind of like taking Advil for a headache. We all know your headache's not there because of lack of Advil, right? But we think Advil's working because our headache went away. But really, there's some other stuff going on that had caused the headache, just like in our feet or ankles, or whatever you're wearing stiff supportive shoes are. Some people wear them even for their knees and hips. I've heard of that before, and we've seen that a lot in our office as well. But remember that the symptom you're experiencing is not due to a lack of a plastic piece in your shoe. So that's why we got to talk about this today, because when I say it like that, a lot of people are like, oh, I never thought of it that way. I just thought my arches were collapsing, or I had really high arches and I had to get supinator shoes, or, whatever your issue is, or I have drop foot and, I have to get this plastic thingy so that my foot isn't dropped. But the reason that you're experiencing these symptoms or these outward signs are not due to a lack of stuff in your shoes. And so I get it. These shoes can sometimes change your symptoms, but they're also changing a lot of other things that we're not acknowledging.
And that's a huge point, because here's the thing with stiffer shoes or just shoes in general. Most shoes do not allow your foot to move as your foot was designed to move. All right, so your foot, all the bones of your feet have a very specific architecture to them, okay? And that architecture allows them to move in very specific manners. So when your foot hits the ground, there should be motion that happens at your foot, at your ankle, at your knee, at your hip, all the way up through your trunk and shoulder and even into your neck, okay? And so if one of those areas can't move well, like for example, if you're wearing a very supportive shoe and it doesn't allow motion at your foot, well, guess what has to happen? The rest of your body has to compensate around that by moving more. So all of a sudden, you wear a stiff shoe and it prevents the foot from moving, which means either the ankle has to move more, or the knee has to move more, or the hip, or your spine, or your neck. All these things have to start moving more in order to compensate around a foot that's not moving as well, all right? And in the short term, this may not be noticeable. We'll give you some kind of case examples, but you may not even notice it. But in the long term, this can be extremely detrimental, because all those other areas that are having to move too much, guess what? They're getting more stressed out. Little by little by little, they are getting more and more stressed out. And again, in the short term, you may not even notice it. But after doing this for 10, 20, 30 years, all of a sudden it becomes a massive issue. I mean, just think about how many steps you take each and every day. All right. Let's say you're one of those people that actually takes 10,000 steps a day. If you're taking 10,000 steps a day for a year, how many steps is that? It's not a leap year, by the way. It's 3.65 million steps that you take in a single year, which means if you're wearing something super supportive under your feet, that's 3.65 million times. The rest of your body has to compensate around that just in 1 year. And that's if you're doing the recommended minimum. Now, You compound that for a decade, 2 decades. Shoot, you do that for 30 years? From the time you're 15 until you're 45? Guess what? That's almost 100 million times that your body has to compensate around the feet. That is an astronomical number of times your body has to compensate just around this one area. So it's a really big deal, because you start talking about compensating 100 million times for something, you're going to be feeling it. And unfortunately, too often we don't relate that back to, oh, well, I've been wearing super supportive shoes for the last 30 years, because like Julie was saying, those super supportive shoes can sometimes remove that symptom that we were initially feeling, but they can create tremendous issues elsewhere in the body, especially over a long period of time.
You're right, Charlie. So actually everywhere in the body, when you limit the motion, or your body limits the motion of a certain area, other areas have to compensate. But what's interesting is that Charlie was saying your feet aren't moving well, and so other areas have to compensate for that, which is true. But what we often are not ever educated on is that our feet are supposed to move. We often think that our feet are like these planks of wood, or like, you know, we've got like, what are the things that ducks have? What are those called?
The flippers?
What are their feet called? They're like, you know, their feet, they're just like kind of like these large things. Anyways, we think of our feet as these non-mobile structures. And we forget that our feet have like a ton of joints. And the reason that our feet have a ton of joints is that they're supposed to move. But when our feet are symptomatic and we put something under them, like something stiff or supportive, that make our symptoms feel better, then we forget about the fact that our feet are supposed to move. Now, what's beautiful about the muscles is that the muscles are designed to be adaptable, meaning they're able to hold joints in place when they're not supposed to move, and they're able to allow joints to move when they are supposed to move. So it's actually the best way to take care of your feet is to make sure the muscles of the feet and the muscles that control the feet, which is what we're jumping into today, are strong, healthy, and functioning well. Because in the end, even if something that is supportive on your foot takes away a symptom, it's going to take away a symptom in exchange for creating other areas that will need to compensate around that. And just like what Charlie said, because of the amount that we're using our feet, this compensation isn't just minor. This compensation is going to be huge, because it's going to affect the rest of your body every single day, every single time you step. So we have to really start rethinking this thing of, hey, I feel better when my feet move less. Great. That's telling us that something in your muscles aren't functioning well, because then the muscles are supposed to hold the joint still. They're not doing their job. So we need to look at the muscles. These muscles, again, are going to be flexible when they need to be flexible and stiff when they need to be stiff. The great thing is that if you're using orthotics and you're feeling better, that's a great sign that more support helps you out, which means if we can get the muscles to support you better, that's going to be even better than using something external like an orthotic or a supportive shoe.
Now, the challenge is that it's not necessarily the muscles of the feet that may not be working well. It can be the muscles of the knees, the muscles that control the hips, the muscles that control the trunk. And the way we like to explain this is through this analogy, all right? So if you imagine a bridge, all right, and a bridge has these kind of supportive columns underneath it. And then let's say it's a bridge that you drive over. So there's a road that's lying over top of the columns. And then above, it has these guy wires coming down, and they are helping to suspend the bridge, all right? So it has the support of the columns, and it has the suspension of the guy wires that are helping to make sure that road stays intact. So what happens if the columns underneath start to become dysfunctional and start to crack and are not able to support the road? Well, one, the road becomes in danger, but there's a compensation for that, right? Those guy wires. Well, those guy wires up top now all of a sudden start taking on more stress, all right? So that's an issue in the long term for those guy wires. On the flip side, what happens if those guy wires snap, all right? And the columns underneath now all of a sudden have to take on more stress. So if the bottom part isn't functioning well, the top part takes on more stress. If the top part isn't functioning well, the bottom part takes on more stress. So just because, relating this back to the body, just because there's a symptom in one area, like your feet, it doesn't necessarily mean that the issue is with the feet. The issue can be within the foot itself, it could be, but it could also be an area above the feet, such as the knees, such as the hips, all right? And a lot of times what we see is when people's hips aren't working well and people's trunk isn't working well, their feet have to pick up more stress. And this can start to create symptoms in the foot, which then what do we do with that? We put a supportive shoe under the foot, which then what's the problem with that? Removes the symptom, but now all of a sudden, those areas that weren't functioning well to begin with, the hips and the trunk, have to pick up more stress because now the foot isn't able to move well. Well, the hips and the trunk weren't functioning well to begin with. And it's just this giant downward spiral where each area is having to compensate for the next, stressing it out even more than it was stressed out to begin with. And down the road, what happens? Knees, hips, trunk start becoming more symptomatic because the foot, which was starting to pick up stress for the other areas that were dysfunctional, is not able to move well because of those supportive structures that are placed on, such as shoes and other kind of inserts.
Yeah, absolutely right. So when we think about that bridge analogy, our foot is like the bridge, and we need support from below and we need support from above. And those supports can come from muscles, and they actually should be coming from muscles. They shouldn't be coming from an external support system like a stiff shoe, whatever. And I know this all sounds amazing in philosophy. You're like, okay, yeah, but I just want to put on orthotics so that in 2 seconds, my symptoms go away. But there could be other ramifications from doing this only because every area, every joint of the body is connected in somehow. So definitely try to think about, hey, could I address this with the muscles first? And actually, this is the way I got into MAT, because I had severe plantar fasciitis for years and years and years, and nothing was helping me. And I was wearing all these stiff shoes and everything like that. And actually, I realized that it was my suspension system, the muscles above my feet, that were failing to support my feet and pull up my arches. And so that was an eye-opening experience for me. And so it's not just a theory, but this happens actually all the time in our office. We find a lot of issues in people's trunks, in people's hips, and in people's knees, where muscles are failing to pull up the arches or support the foot from above and really be able to participate as that suspension for the foot.
So what can you do about this? You're probably sitting there thinking, all right, great, we've identified a problem, but now that the problem is identified, what in the world can you do about it? Well, like we said at the top of the episode, we're here to talk about muscle activation techniques and how MAT relates to this, okay? If you listen to any of our podcasts, you may already be well-versed in what MAT is, but as a recap for what MAT is, remember, MAT is going to assess your body to figure out where you have muscles that aren't working well, that aren't doing the job that they're supposed to do. Now, what job is that? Well, your muscles have one job, and that job is to contract, or we might think of it as like squeezing, okay? Your muscles have to be able to contract, and they have to be able to do so on a moment's notice. And when they're not able to do that, other muscles have to pick up the slack for them and do more work. The challenge with this is that over time, if you have muscles that are picking up the slack for other muscles for an extended period, those muscles can start to become overworked and actually become stressed out to the point where they're not working as well. And then other muscles have to make up for those muscles. And it becomes this kind of snowballing effect where you have muscles that aren't working well and other muscles compensating. And then those muscles get too stressed out, and so they stop working as well. And then other muscles have to compensate for those. And so your body just becomes more and more and more dysfunctional from a muscle standpoint. Well, with MAT, we try to put a stop to that. We assess to figure out where these problems are, these contraction inefficiencies are, and we stimulate the tissue to help the muscles start to contract better. And we see that when the muscles contract better, not only does your joint motion improve and your strength improve and kind of your motor control of things improves, like your coordination and stuff, but those symptoms that were starting to pile on one on top of the other can start to dissipate, because all of a sudden those muscles that were having to do all the compensation for all the dysfunctional ones, they get to calm down a little bit and they don't have to take on as much of the workload. Okay, so that's kind of an overview of what MAT is, but how does this relate to the feet, and how does this relate to the shoes that you're wearing? Like Julie was saying, when you're wearing super supportive shoes, that is essentially taking over the role that your muscles should be playing. Your muscles are the tissues within your body that should be supporting your feet and making sure that not only can your feet move well, but that your feet are stable, okay? And that your feet can help to kind of propel you forward, and your feet can help to kind of dissipate the force when your foot hits the ground and your body weight comes crashing down over top of it. So that is a role that your muscles are supposed to play from a foot perspective. Well, if your shoes are taking the role of that, guess what? Your foot muscles don't have to do too much. They can become kind of lazy, all right? And over time, your foot muscles just may be like, you know what? I didn't have to work that hard yesterday. I'm probably not going to have to be work that hard today. And they become deconditioned, all right? Just like if you go for a while without exercising, you become deconditioned. These foot muscles become deconditioned and they become weaker, all right? Every single thing that you think of that happens when you stop exercising, that's what happens to the muscles of your feet when you start to wear super supportive shoes, because they're not needing to be as actively involved, all right? So with MAT, we're able to go and kind of stimulate those muscles to get them working better. And much like going to the gym and starting to work out again can stimulate your muscles to, you know, get them stronger, get their endurance capabilities up, starting with MAT to get those muscles of your feet working better, all of a sudden can kickstart that process of the muscles of your feet starting to do that role again of supporting the bones and joints of your feet, helping the joints of your feet move well, and making sure that when you are walking, when you're running, when your foot hits the ground, that the force of your body weight coming down over top of your foot starts to get dissipated a little bit better and is not as detrimental to the passive structures of your foot as it otherwise would be.
That's right. So when we're wearing a supportive shoe, again, it's taking over the role that the muscles are supposed to be doing. And when this happens, like what Charlie said, the muscles get deconditioned. Now, have you ever heard someone, like when they're walking or they squat, they say, oh, I'm compensating around my hip, or I'm compensating around my knee, or whatever. When we have clients come in that swear by their supportive and stiff shoes or supports that they put in their shoes, that's a clear and easy visual one for Charlie and I to see, okay, so that's something you're compensating around. And you have to be compensating around it because you're wearing it, right? It's kind of part of you now. And so whenever we see this, we always start investigating the muscles that support the foot and the muscles that suspend the foot, just like the bridge analogy that we talked about. So we are looking at motions of and checking in on the muscles that would point your foot, that would lift the foot up, that would curl and crunch your toes, that would lift and extend your toes up, the muscles that arch your foot, the muscles that flare your foot out to the side, curl your foot in. So there are so many motions and muscles that we're going to look at to make sure that the muscles of your foot are supporting your foot. Remember, that's only 50% of the story. So we're getting the feet strong. But are the feet also being helped out with their suspension system? So all the motions and muscles that live above the foot and ankle. So not only are we going to look at all those little tiny motions that the feet do to make sure the feet aren't compensating, we're going to also be looking at the muscles that help to make the ankle go side to side and make the ankle go up and down. We're going to be looking at the muscles that help the knee flex and extend, or bend and straighten, we could say. We're also going to look at how the hip is moving. Can you do hip flexion, like lift your leg up, or hip extension, like pulling your leg to the backside, hip ab and adduction. We're going to look at all these motions. Also, the trunk. How well is your core rotating side to side, bending side to side, flexing front and back? all of these motions can contribute to a failure in suspension for the feet. And we look at both the support, meaning how your feet are moving, and the suspension, meaning how the motions above your feet are doing, when someone comes in with really stiff or supportive shoes that seem to work for them. Because, again, we know that if these stiff and supportive shoes are working well for the symptom they're currently identifying with or experiencing, that means something in the muscles wasn't or is still not doing their job. And from the MAT mindset, we want to get the body to be supported by itself from its muscle system, from its natural support system as much as possible. So actually, when you come in with stiff supportive shoes, that's a really good sign for an MAT specialist. We know with more support, this person's body does a lot better. But we also know that the support you're supposed to be getting comes from the muscles. So it's a really good indicator that something in your muscle system is being inhibited or not working well. That can usually be addressed by checking out a muscle activation technique specialist and getting some sessions in.
Yeah, it's a really key takeaway from this episode is that if you find that when you're wearing super stiff or supportive shoes, that your body feels better, that's an indication that your muscles may not be functioning as well as they should be. And so the action item for this episode is find an MAT practitioner in your area. Go to muscleactivation.com, click on the Find a Specialist tab to find a certified practitioner in your area that you can schedule an appointment with and get your body evaluated. If you find that you need to wear specific certain shoes in order for your hips and your knees and your back to feel better and your feet to not hurt, that's a sign that those shoes are likely taking over the job that the muscles should be doing. And somewhere, whether it's in your back, your hips, your knees, your ankles, or your feet, your muscles are not doing their job well. That's a role that MAT can play to help find those muscles and get those muscles working better. The other thing that we'd ask you to do is check out our earlier episode on this podcast called Feet, the Most Overlooked Area of Your Body, okay? And in that episode, we talk about more in depth about feet specifically and foot issues, things like plantar fasciitis, and why the muscles are so vital when it comes to supporting the feet, when it comes to stabilizing the feet, and taking care of a lot of the kind of aches and pains that we feel throughout our entire body. So definitely check that episode out, and we'll link to that in the show notes. So while you're online, checking out, muscleactivation.com, finding a specialist in your area, head on over to iTunes as well and leave us a rating and review, because guess what? That rating, that review helps people find this podcast. So if you found value in this conversation today and you think other people would benefit from hearing this conversation, take a couple of minutes, head on over to iTunes, leave us a rating and review. It really does make a huge difference, and it means the world to us when you do that. And if you can think of anybody specifically that needs to hear this episode, feel free to share it with them so they can learn about how their choice in shoe wear may be affecting not just their feet, but the rest of the body as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. We always appreciate it. Have a fantastic week, and we'll talk with you all next week.